All right, guys, we are back with another great episode of Basscast Radio. I am Brian, your host, and above us, above me, if you're watching the video, is Hank the Bass Geek. What's happening, brother?
What's up, man? Like I always say, just living the grind, man. Getting out there doing some winter school fishing.
Yes.
We've been dropping Demikis and tight lines, and just dropped a video today talking about jig and spoons and keeping the jig and spoon thing simple in the wintertime. Not overthinking it. But other than that, got some new apparel coming out here. Got
Oh, yes.
got a new hat and a beanie with a kind of redesigned logo. That's not they're not out yet, but I think I like them so much. I think we're gonna go ahead and go live probably sometime this week. So
They looking good, people. They are looking good. I can't wait. I need to order you a hat. We're going to exchange hats. That's what we need to do.
yeah,
When I see you at the classic, we're going to exchange hats. So
all right.
all right, guys. Well, I had a surprise trip over the weekend. First of all, we went up to Journey Outdoors for the open house. That was pretty freaking awesome. As a lot of people turned out for that. The cool thing about for you guys who have never, first of all, if you went to the first location, it was right at the beginning of Lexington, Virginia, right across some a big old sheets. Now they're on the back side of Lexington, Virginia. So you go straight through town, out of town. There they are. I hate to do a comparison here, but it's almost like Appomattox River Company, which is in Farmville, Virginia. So they're on the backside of Farmville, Virginia. You drive straight through town, and there's Appomattox River Company. But Journey's in a really freaking cool, big building now. I mean, they've like 4 times tripled their space.
Wow.
And the coolest thing about it is now 90. Before Brian, I don't like blue. Well, I think I got a green in the warehouse. Well, now the warehouse is right behind them. It's in the same building. So, it might take them a minute to get to everything because it's jam packed in there. But, yeah, everything is in the warehouse now, which is actually the back of an old pawn store. But they bought the store. It looks good inside. For you guys that are heading up there, I've been told, they went to the Pittman Outdoor Show over a week ago now, 2 weeks ago now. Lots of great product is on its way. So the shelves are full, but they're going to get a whole lot fuller because they got a whole lot more room, pack a whole lot more tackle. They want to be your one-stop shop. And I ain't going to say nothing. Oh, I almost bought a rod because I really like this drop shot rod, and I like to have one in my arsenal because I love drop shotting. But yeah, so check them out. But the trip, my buddy DM'd me on Friday and he was like, "Do you want to go to Raleigh, North Carolina for the Bass Fishing Saltwater Expo?" And I'm like, "Are you driving?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Let's go." So the basscast.com headed on down to Raleigh. We shot a lot of great videos.
Yeah, I like that expo, man. It's nice. It's not a huge expo, but it's a nice little expo. There's a lot of people come out to it. I mean, it was packed. The years that I've been down to it, I really miss going, to be honest with you.
Dude, they told me Friday and Saturday it was elbow to elbow in that place.
Yeah.
And people were spending money and people were buying, and it was great. And, head on over, guys, now to the basscast.com. Lots of great videos. Scroll down to the bottom and you'll check out a bunch of new videos that we have uploaded. It's all there for you to take a look at. And I actually have 3 more videos that need to go up on the website, and I plan on getting that done between now and Friday. Before you guys all head off to the Richmond Fishing Expo in Doswell, Virginia, I've already committed. I'm not going because it was a blessing to go to the Carolina Expo. Got to see some big old saltwater boats. Holy cow. Geek, man. I'm talking about half the length of the house here, and I ain't got a very big house. But it was great going to that, great checking that out. And the last time I went to the Raleigh show, it was in one of the Coliseums or something. It wasn't in their expo land or something.
Yeah.
And Boyd Duckett was selling his rods. I mean, they had just came out. That tells you how long ago it's been.
Wow, yeah, that's been a minute then.
It's been a minute because I've been going to Richmond and I've been coming down there and hanging out with you. So I mean, guys,
Yeah,
as you guys all know, end of the month is the Tennessee Valley Fishing Expo. Bass Geek will be there, and it is a heck of a show. And guess what? We get away.
yeah, man. The no, it's the East Tennessee.
East Tennessee. I always say it wrong. I don't know why.
I always get those two backwards.
Tennessee
well, there is
fishing.
a Tennessee Valley, but it's out in Nashville.
It's Tennessee. I mean, it's
yeah,
Tennessee show. East Tennessee show. They're gonna be like, this tastes
but yeah, man, it's packed. You know, I both love it and hate it. I love to go, but I am on my feet all day. I'm talking so much, which I love to talk to all the geeks out there, you know, that come to see me and hang out. And then, you know, I'm a fat boy, man, standing on concrete for 12 hours a day. You know, I just don't do that a lot. It starts to hurt. So, you know.
Dude, I ain't gonna say nothing. We got dinner about 12, left about 3. Just those 3 hours, my Skechers were worn out. So
I'm telling you, you know, and I do it 4 days. It's like 4 days. All 4 days, I think, are 8 to 12 hours, except for Sunday. And Sunday, I think, ends at 5. So, but it's still like 8 or 9 to 5.
Yeah. So, I think, yeah, because I think the 10 to 5 is what it was at the Raleigh show. So, yeah, I mean, like you said,
it's like 9 to 8 Friday, Saturday. Yeah, I think.
So it's a long couple of days. And like I said, we enjoy the expos. We enjoy getting down. We enjoy seeing you guys. And it was great getting to see everyone at the expo. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know, get you back in the spirit. You're ready to get fishing again. The weather still kind of sucks, even though, you know, you get this bass fishing high. And then we get the damn snow. And then we go fishing in March, or we go to the Bassmaster Classic, or we go to the Red Crest.
So, I'll tell you what, man, you know, the expos for me, they just remind me of work, because that's, so I was, you know, March, like you said, I got the Red Crest, I got the Classic, I've got my first tournament. So February is all prep work. It's all prep work to get there, trying to get rods and reels that I need in, or baits that I need in for the upcoming tournament season. Whew, it's exhausting, man. It's exhausting.
All right, before we talk about our guest for tonight, have you found a partner yet?
I did. I found a guy who's actually local. We've done linked and paid for the first 2 tournaments. We're going to pay for the second 2 a little bit later, but you know, you know, so he's committed. He's real excited. He's a tournament angler, and
cool.
He's never fished the BFLs as a co-angler, so his excitement won't last long, I'm sure. But
come on, geek. Don't.
Well, no, it's, you know, being a co-angler is great, except, like, here's the great thing about being a co-angler. Now, the boater does nothing. Now, yes, they bring the boat, they bring the truck, they pay for the fuel, they drive around the whole time. Okay, great. Listen, I'd rather do that any day,
right,
than be the co-angler who has to call the boater, figure out where you're going to meet him. Pray to God that he don't want to meet you on the dock, because it's going to be dark. There's going to be 30 other co-anglers out there and 30 other boats. By the way, boats you've never seen. And by the way, you're not going to be able to, at least for me in the dark, I can't distinguish if it's red, green, orange, or if it's pink with yellow polka dots. You know, they all got red, green lights, and white lights. That's all I can
awesome.
feel. So you standing on the dock and you hoping, you know, that this guy's going to get here. Then you got to carry all your stuff, your rods, your tackle bag. You got to put it in the boat. And if he's launched himself, which most time he don't, the worst part about it is you got to get up there. You got to meet him. You throw your stuff in the boat. He takes you over there, dumps his butt in the lake, sits out there and talks fishing to everybody. And now you got to go find somewhere to park in a parking lot in a guy's truck that you ain't never been in.
True.
You in somebody else's truck and trailer. And that unnerves me. Like I could drive my truck trailer all day long. I don't care. But now you and somebody else, then you got to go when you get done. Now, once you're fishing, once you're in the water, no big deal, right? You're fishing. But then you got to go, and he's going to bring you to the dock. He's going to sit there while he makes you run to the weigh-in thing, which they normally put for a fat boy is hell because it's 800 feet away. You got to go. You got to climb the mountain. Just get 2 empty bags. You get them bags. You come down, and then you got to carry the fish up there. You do all that crap, and then he gets back in the boat. You got to walk to his truck, and then you got to navigate all this traffic and all these guys who's in a hurry because they've had a bad tournament. And they're pissy, and back some dude's trailer down with 30 other co-anglers who you don't know their skill level of backing trailers down.
This is the best, guys. This right here is like, okay, I don't think I ever want to fish a tournament. Yeah. I think I'm good.
Fishing,
the fishing part's great.
And I put that in air quotes. Fishing as a co-angler is great. It's everything that happens before and after the fishing.
It's kind of like guys, when we, I know I don't fish as much as I wish and like to. Not when I do fish, I fish out of a kayak, so it's just me and my 80-pound kayak. Yeah. But it's kind of like when we go out and record a bunch of videos like I did this past weekend. Yeah. The recording was great. Seeing everybody was great. When I got home and got to spend a couple hours in front of the laptop editing and stabilizing and making sure the sound sounded great for you guys, which it actually does with the brand new Yeti. Not the Yeti, but the brand new microphones that we got from DJI. The video sounded great. So, I mean, a lot less editing than the past. But I mean, it's simple than middle. It's the hard part at the end. So, all right, guys, tonight we got Bassmaster Elite angler Bradley Hallman on with us tonight. We're going to talk about the journey, from the, highlight the beginning to the end, talk about ups and downs. You know how we always talk here at the Basscast Radio. Yep. And then talk about his thoughts on the 2023 season and welcome him back to the Bassmaster Elite. You guys all know, he started his journey fishing the Toyota Series. Mm-hmm. And you guys all know that was Major League. No, what was it anymore? I keep saying Major. I now say Major League Fishing.
FLW.
FLW. And now it's Major League Fishing. Yeah. I had to get it correct because before I just kept saying the other one, then I got to go back to the other one. It could have another name.
Way back then, it was probably the EverStarts.
That is probably true.
Yeah.
So and now he's worked his way back up by fishing the Opens, and here he is back to the Bassmaster Elites. And guys, we'll be right back with Mr. Bradley Hallman. All right, guys, Bassmaster Elite Angler, Mr. Bradley Hallman. What's going on, brother? Welcome back to Basscast Radio. We had you, I was actually looking back, and I stopped looking, but it's been a while since we've had you on the show. Thank you for taking some time coming on and talking with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, congratulations, first of all, on getting back on the Bassmaster Elite Series for 2023, man. Hopefully you stay on there for the rest of your career is what we hope.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, too. I'm not looking for 20 more years of a career, but if I can play there for about 10 more years, I'll be a happy man.
And what a career it has been for you, sir. There's been some ups, some downs. There's been some, it's been a long road.
It has been. That's what I was talking to you about earlier. It's like it's been the dirt road for me. And it has, man. There's been some low bottom of the ghettos and through some dirt roads. And then there's been some highs on top of the mountain too. So, it's been a little bit of both, which is probably what's kept me going. It's just something that I love, dude. I'm just a fisherman like everybody else when it boils down to it. And it's just something I've done my whole life and I just can't quit.
What do you think? Son?
Oh, I'm going to have to walk away. Sorry, Bradley. Listen, man, I'm at work.
So what do you think has been the key for this long success that you've had so far in the world of bass fishing total, going from, Major League Fishing and back into, the elites where we are today?
Yeah. I think that it's, a little bit of stubbornness, a little bit of, like I said, just true love for the sport, I really think that's what's carried me on. I mean, I wouldn't be able to go through all the rough times that I've been through because I've been through some pretty rough ones. I don't know that I could have made it through those if it wasn't just true enjoyment for the sport and, sport of bass fishing and chasing fish and catching fish and looking for the next bite. Man, just like the last few years in the Bassmaster Opens, like that's all I wanted. That was a lot of guys and a lot of boats on the water and, traveling a lot of places, and the money's not exactly what I've been used to fishing for. You finish 45th and you beat a lot of guys, and I'm used to like that should be worth a $10,000 check, but I know that we're not paying $5,000 entry fees, and I'd like to be, but that's not the case. So, yeah, it's had its ups and downs, but I think that's it. Just like, how have you been doing this podcast for how long? I mean, I know you're over 200 of them by now.
Yes, I am over 200.
Yeah, you guys have been doing it a while, and it's kind of the same answer, right?
Yeah, very true. We never given up, man. Yeah. Like Ike and Ellie always says, never give up.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Like if I win the Classic and I think of him when he was about 21 and still wet behind the ears screaming, never give up. And I'm thinking of me at 55 and I'm thinking, Bubba, you didn't even know what the hell you were screaming at the time, didn't really understand it,
Yeah.
Because like I said, and we've had a lot of anglers come in over the last couple of years that had that big high. We've interviewed, talked to them, they've had that big high. And then after that, I ain't gonna say it was a low, but it was kind of like a level off.
Right.
And it wasn't like, I don't know. It was kind of look back at part of my career being a part of bass and watching different anglers come in and different people come in and seeing just that progression.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, and we talk about technology and we talk about a lot of different things like that have helped these young anglers come in and just shoot to the top real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the sport's definitely changing. I know that we've had a lot of conversations this off season among some of the other anglers. The Toyota Championship was really an eye opener to me. Good friend of mine, Todd Castledine, led it the first day, and he made the top 10. And when he got home, when he was driving home, he called me. He's like, "Dude, that was the weirdest top 10 I've ever been in." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Man," he said, "I don't even know how to explain it, but like, you'll get this." He goes, when we're fishing, like these Toyotas and stuff or opens or whatever around the house in the region, in our region, Oklahoma, Texas stuff. He's like, you struggle along for 2 days and you make the top 10 and you're all happy and you feel like, you're doing well. And he said, you go to the meeting of the 10 guys, and he said, you start looking around the room and it's like the usual suspects, what I mean? And he's like, 8 of the 10 guys, he was like, dude, I didn't know one person. And
wow,
not one. And he said, I was the oldest one there. And we got doing the math, dude. He was the oldest one there by 10 years, by a decade.
Holy cow.
So I called Jody White and got talking to him about it. And I was like, dude, go back. And he pulled up all the MLS stats from like the last 20 years, from like basically 2000, and pulled up all those Toyota championships and did the average age of the top 10. Dude, it's scary to look at those numbers. I mean, it's old 20 years ago. So like 20 years ago, you show up at, were they at Gunnersville? That's going to be like 20 years ago. That's going to be nothing but the locals, the old men, that know that place inside. Right. They're fixing to whip everybody's ass that showed up. That's not the case anymore. And so it's not just forward-facing sonar. It's all the technology combined.
Yeah.
It's GPS. It's the mapping amongst the GPS where it shows all the offshore structure. It's all that stuff, side imaging. It's all that stuff combined. Yeah. And it allows them to jump on a body of water that they've never seen before in their entire life and feel right at home.
But now, I think, too, it's a lot of, we've got feeder systems in place, too, now for those younger guys, that are, you've got the high school. I think I've seen it, and I think it's still the fact that the high school and college, it's the fastest growing sport in high school and college sports in the U.S. is bass fishing.
100%. And we see it at all the high school levels here in Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, Sam Rayburn has 3,000 guys show up at a high school tournament at Rayburn. I mean, it's insane how many boats they get. But you're correct. With the college, fishing, it's really allowed those guys to travel too. So they start seeing things, you know, inside the region, some of them just right outside the region.
Yeah.
Here's another big kicker. When I started fishing nationally and regionally, the guys with the most information, meaning connections, people that they can talk to.
Yes.
You think of guys like Scott Martin.
Yep.
People like that. They had a lot of contacts with a lot of people, you know. His dad knew a lot of people.
Yep.
Kevin Van Dam. I mean, he had to go work at Bass Pro Shots for Johnny for, 15 years up before that. So he's standing in a show in Springfield, and some guy's one of the best hammers there, wherever, on Table Rock, and he shakes his hand, they got those conversations, and they got a little bit of that information. They got it legally. I'm not saying that anybody was cheating.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that was their network. So what I'm getting at, their network was bigger than somebody like myself coming out of Oklahoma that didn't know anybody when I had to go fish tournament in North Carolina. I was just, that game has changed. The networks, actually the largest networks and the best networks right now, belong to the college kids, because they go and show up at an event at Florida where all these kids come from all over the United States.
Yeah.
They've all got that phone in their hand, and they all just, they're just like, hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Oh, you're at St. Clair, Michigan. I've never even been there. Hey, let's transfer numbers. I live on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
And so they just boom. And I say numbers. They're not transferring phone numbers. They're giving each other their social media deals, and they're on their way. And so then one of these kids ends up making it to fish the opens or whatever. Hell, he's got a lot of contacts, and it's not old information either. You got to realize these kids that are fishing, like I say, kids, young men, that are fishing in college that fish this much, man, that's the newest, freshest information there is out there. I mean, he's probably on St. Clair every day, and the one at Kentucky Lake is probably out there all the time,
Yep.
Yeah, you could say it's the good and the bad of social media, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying it's just kind of how things have.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's no doubt that the prime age of a pro angler when I started was really from about 40 to 50. That was really the prime. They were still young enough to physically compete, but enough time to have learned everything, travel. But that age is way younger now, way younger. And it'll continue to get younger.
The information just travels faster. There's more ways to get it. And like you said, man, these young kids, they're information savvy. I mean, they are. They know how to share. They've already made those contacts that, us older guys, I'm 40, I'll be 49 in April. We've had to work years and actually meet people. We didn't have a friend of a friend, and hollered at him. So it's
the days, I remember when the elites were here on Smith Mountain Lake, and there's a lot of anglers that showed up a few extra days and got a little bit of information. I ain't gonna lie, they were watching weigh-ins and talking and shaking hands and trying to network a little bit. But like you said, now it's a total different ball game. And you got Bass University. I mean, just starting out, period, you ain't got to have that person, my brother or my dad or my mom or something. I mean, we've had people on, they play golf first, and then they started doing bass fishing because they like the sport so much. I mean, it's different. There's a lot different. It's a different path. Is what I'm getting to get to where they want to be, whether it's elites or major league fishing. So now, Bradley, you talked about it earlier. You took a little time off from fishing as a whole. How do you think that a lot of people, when they take that time off, the mindset changes, reality sets back in, and then you show back out, show back up, and here we are today. How do you think? Was it a good time off for you mentally, or was it,
Yeah, it was for me. I mean, it was needed. It was mandatory when I took it in 2011. I was ready to quit and sell everything I owned, but it was definitely good for me. I have learned, and it's taken me all this time, dude, to really kind of understand where my strengths are. I'm not the angler that can go fish 500 days, all the time, every day. Like I have fished very little since October, very little. Now I can go saltwater fish, or I can go do other things, but I don't care anything about bass fishing. And I used to beat myself up for years and years. I mean, this just changed in the last few years.
Okay.
I beat myself up mentally because I knew that I had all these friends that were busting their ass, Brian Thrift, some of the best in the game. I know what they do in the off season, and they spend all their time tinkering with tackle, ordering, trying new stuff, searching the internet, scouring, looking for this or that, listening to everything. So, and fishing every day, right? All the time. Like if there's ice on the water, but it's only a half-inch thick, they can break through it, they're going.
Gone.
For me, I just looked at some of my best stuff, and it's after I've had long breaks. And I know that it's because of my attention span to it. I do get tired of it. And then when I'm away from it, it makes me hungry when I come back. And, I think just like in, professional sports, I think all athletes are geared different, and for me, it just works different. And for me to be at my best, I need some time away. I mean, I need to push away from YouTube, podcasting, like anything else, anything that has to do with it at all. And then I'll catch myself after a few weeks becoming interested again. Now I'm not talking about like week to week, but I'm talking about after a grueling period that I've been through, of a year. And I just need a little bit of time away, and it's good for me.
So when Bradley does get back into the fish mode, what does it usually look like for you?
Man, sometimes when I'm really hungry, like I am right now, my days consist of, I'm up at 5 a.m. and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to go fishing right now. I'm trying to prepare for the year. So there's a lot of time spent on research. I've really gotten into using a lot. Dude, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like, I don't care. Like, I just drove to Nashville and back and had my boy with me. We listened to podcasts from one end to
that's awesome,
state of Tennessee to the other. I turn everything up on 1.5. Like, I don't listen to anything normal speed because I want it. I want it, and I want to get through it. I have listened to a ton of y'all stuff. I just flip through. I mean, there's so much information out there. I want to know the anglers that I'm competing against, because there's quite a few guys in the Elite Series right now that I don't know and that I haven't met. And so I want to get to learn their personalities. I want to learn their strengths, what to expect from them, and where I'm going to see them on the water. And then, I really just want to work on my own mental, physical fitness too, as far as I want to stay mentally tough, dude. Like, that's been my biggest weakness throughout my entire career, is staying tough, me personally, mentally, through the whole thing. And that means a lot of different things, but I want to stay focused and hooked up,
I mean, here you go. What does that mean for you? I mean, really serious. We love talking about that here at Bass Cast Radio. And I think that's, I've kind of done this twist with the whole entire show, is that positive mental attitude. We've gone away with a lot of different guests, because people, even, you were talking about being burnt out. You're an angler, you're fishing, you're traveling, Geek and I mean, it's the same thing with all of it. Geek record 50 videos a year, 52, 55. I'm on the road for weeks. You guys are on the road for weeks. So, I mean, at the end, we're all really kind of burnt out.
That's right.
So how's it for you?
I think for me, like I said, I just look back at all the years that I've fished and where some of my best successes have come. And I went into those tournaments with a different mentality. I really had spent a lot of time preparing,
right?
And I hear guys say this kind of stuff, but I think that really just goes back basically to confidence. That's what I think, they believe in it. You hear Brian New, I was listening to him talk to Mercer last night driving, and he was talking about, his confidence is just, it's running out of the top of his head. He's got so much. And his confidence comes from how hard he works and how hard he works and what he does with his tackle and all that. Well, maybe all that tackle, maybe he does find a gizmo or two, but truthfully, I'm telling you, it's his confidence, period, that catches fish. And I believe that. So I think confidence is a lot of it, being able to keep that confidence. So what I see happen to a lot of guys when I was on the Elite Series for 6 years, and I see it on the FLW Tour, I saw it everywhere. I've seen it everywhere in fishing. Guys come in that don't realize what they're up against. Polnick was a good example early. Didn't realize, they just don't know. There's power in the unknown. They don't realize how good everybody is, and that is an advantage to them. John Sukup, my roommate right now, I kind of feel like he's somewhat the same. I mean, I never tell these guys this. I'm not trying to. I don't want to run them. I enjoy watching their courage, right? They're just fearless, but it's because they really don't know how good everybody else is. They don't really understand how good the competition is. Once you see guys kind of get beaten down, I've got friends like that are just really good dudes, really, really good fishermen, but they just don't compete at that highest level day in and day out. And it's because it's been taken out of them,
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, like you said, the mind gets, I just spent $5,000 on an entry fee and I got bills paid at home.
Right. And there's a lot of pressure with that.
Yeah. And then I got sponsors on top of that. I mean, I'll be honest here, just coming from what he's saying there, the sponsors want to see you on stage. They want to see you finish at least a couple events on day 3, because every day that you're up there, I mean, it helps them. But I'll be honest here at the basscast.com, I never wanted sponsors. I got to have them because it's just another level. It's something else I got to go do. It's something else I got to go promote or make them happy.
There is freedom. I understand what you're saying. There is.
You kind of just want that freedom just to go fish. But then in the back of your head, you know what you really got to do.
Yeah.
Cash checks.
Yeah. You got to cash checks. And that really starts playing in guys' minds. I heard Kevin say that one time while I was on the Elite Series. They were asking him about some of the guys. He's like, how come you think a lot of the guys missed this that you found, because it was so special, and he's just smiling, catching shit. And he's like, they're all, they're chasing checks. And they were like, what do you mean? He's like, they're setting their goal at 50th place before the tournament starts. Like, that's the question. What's it going to take to get a check here? Well, the check's 50th place. So they're setting their goal weight, starting the tournament at 50th place. That's their goal. I mean, and I listen to all the conversation amongst Elite Series. They do it all the time. I promise you, they're still doing it today.
Yeah.
Because that's such a large amount of money to all of us.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
he wasn't worried about it. He didn't care. Hackney doesn't care. Christie doesn't care. Anyway, my point being is you can sit and say that you're a killer mindset or whatever, but, saying it and doing it are two different deals. And, those guys at the top have been that way for a long time, improving.
So you spent a little time in the opens, getting back to the elites where you are now. And like you said, you talked about earlier, the payout. I mean, that whole entire thing. But what was the reason for coming back, wanting to say, I want to be back on the Bassmaster Elite Series? Because you did spend quite a time in, Major League Fishing. And
so by 2019, which was the last year I was there, man, I was happy at FLW. I was having a good career. Like I said, I'd won a couple tour events. I mean, I'd only been there for 4 years. It was going good. I enjoyed it. It was different than Bass. I just really liked it, and I liked where I was. Well, then the big shakeup comes, right? And MLF purchases on top of the shakeup. They purchased FLW, and there was, man, like I said, I knew a lot of those guys. I'm friends. I mean, some of the owners, MLF are good buddies of mine. I just had to sit down and think about everything that was going to happen. There's not just one answer, Brian. I don't have one. It wasn't one thing. It was more like a checklist, and I had 70 things on there. And at the end of the day, when I did MLF or Bass to stay put or to leave, it was the Bass side had a lot more check marks for me. I think a lot of it had to do with my age. I felt like at FLW before MLF purchased, I had won at every level over there, other than winning a Forest Wood Cup.
Yep, that's true.
And there was a lot of Bass that I hadn't won or done, and so I wanted to go chase blue trophies. And I know that at my age, like I told y'all, I have a problem with staying interested and motivated. Waking up to try to chase a classic trophy every day, I thought would do a pretty damn good job of keeping me motivated.
I think so. I do.
Yeah. Let's hope you get to the 2024 Bassmaster Classic. So
yeah, that'd be great.
So now my question is, how bad's John snore? I mean, I know John's a big guy. He was on my podcast just Monday. How do you sleep? You have to use earplugs? I'm just
dude, I'm gonna tell y'all, you have never, ever, ever heard a man snore like John Sugar.
Well, I mean, he's what, like 6'9", 7 foot.
That is true. And here's the bad part. The moment he lays his head down, he's out. So like there's no,
you can't beat him to sleep.
You can't beat him to sleep. And then the worst part is that the snoring starts the second he's gone, and within 3 minutes of him being out, it is roaring loud. I woke up one time at like 3 a.m. It's silent. So like once he's been asleep for a long time, he quits. But
wow.
So like I would try to beat him to bed. So this is what it did end up happening. I ended up getting my earbuds, for my wireless earbuds.
Yeah.
Crank up some tunes, man. Just go to sleep. That's all I could do. And I wake up every morning, and they're in the bed somewhere. You got to find them. But yeah. He will tell you. He'll tell you up front. He really needs his own bedroom. And let me tell you,
I can't.
If you ever stay with John Suckup, give the man his own bedroom. He ain't lying.
Oh my God.
I can't say that, man. I'm bad too. My wife, I think she wants to strangle me most nights. So,
Bradley, you're what, 6'4" or 5 at least. Because I know you pretty daggone tall, brother.
Yeah, I don't think I've met you in person. I don't know how. He froze.
All right, so you qualified for the 2023 season, brother. It kicks off February the 16th through the 19th on Lake Okeechobee. You talked about your age earlier, and the age of most of the anglers in the field today. You got the experience, you got some of the knowledge, but how's it going to feel? I mean, you're going to take soak up with you. That's going to be some baggage when you go live, some good baggage. But how's it going to feel, making that transition and then being like, dang, you're not Rick Clunn yet.
No. We're not that far.
We're not that far yet. But it is gonna feel like you were talking about earlier. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel a little different. A lot of new anglers, and you talked about the mindset earlier.
Yeah.
How's this thing gonna play out for you, brother?
I think the fact that I'm getting older is a motivation to me to get this done quick, because I've got some goals and I've got some things that I would really, really like to accomplish in my life. And I know that I'm not going to do this till I'm 70. So
right.
It puts a clock on me now that I didn't used to have. So I think that's part of it. Also, like I said, it wasn't but just 15, 20 years ago, dude. And I'm really at the age of a prime of an angler,
right.
So I know that I ain't over the hill. So
no, heck no.
I definitely feel like I've got some punches to throw, and man, I'm just really excited to be back. Like I want it to be, I want to do really, really well. Like I said, I've had some successes, but man, I want to be able to fish. Like, I'm not talking about winning AOYs. I'll probably never do that. But dang it, I wouldn't mind staying in that top 25 in the points every year. That kind of stuff, just constantly catching.
Yeah, making it
and
all back.
And I think I'm capable of that, and it hadn't shown sometimes. So I'd like to be able to carry that out for 6, 7, 8 years.
Why do you just said the AOY? Why do you think you couldn't do the AOY? I mean, I really think, me personally, I think you can. I mean,
I just never have been an AOY guy. I mean, even when I fished at home, like I never won AOYs in Oklahoma BFL. I let them sometimes. I get down to the last tournament and lose them. I'm just not an AOY guy.
Brandon talked about it. He never even wanted to see. He was one of the things when Brandon won it this past year. He's like, I don't want to look at the numbers. He said, my goal is just to do X.
Right.
And if X works out the way it's supposed to work out, we'll get the results.
I will say this. This is in my mind, and I know this is true. So when I did jump off in the opens, right, we kind of cut there whenever I did decide to go. That was a scary thing at the time when I did that, because we had a pretty good gig going on over there. And that was at the time, it looked like a giant cliff to jump off of, and we did that. But point being, back to what we're talking about with points.
No.
The 3 years on the opens made me a better points angler. And I truly believe that, because like I said, I'm not a points winner, but I finished in the top 8 in the points in the overall this year with
there
you go,
guys. And I finished first in the points in the Central Division. So, it's I do think that I learned a lot. I was forced to.
Right.
And what it taught me was, I don't know if this will make sense, but I'm really good at like things kind of going south. And it's like, you know, from practice to we're in the first 2 hours of the tournament, it doesn't bother me in the least to start practicing all over again. I don't care if I've got $5,000 on entry. I don't care. Like, that's fine. That's where you can make magic happen. You always need to keep a little bit of practice in your tournament day. And I always believe that, but I'll put too much. Like, I'll just completely and especially, you know, after say a day 2 and you make a top 50 cut and say you make it 38th place and you're like, man, you know, I've made the cut. So let's just go see what we can go find. That may not be the best call. And that's what I used to do all the time. I think maybe just being like, dude, go catch what you think you can catch. And maybe there's a little bit more, and do a little change up in that area and see if you can catch it and climb up to like 21st place instead of falling from 35th to 45th because you didn't find anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, you went and ran something that you had one big bite 7 days ago and it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it Bradley's like concentrating more on your strengths and just fishing? You know, we had someone on a week ago and he said, you know, sometimes the thing that I end up doing is just screwing and going to do something different. I mean, totally, you know, if I'm a drop shotter, I just go do something else. You know, it's like I have to throw a shaky head or something, you know, just throwing that out there. But I mean,
it's definitely a lot of that, you know, especially when I was younger and traveling, I made those mistakes a lot. And it's amazing how easy it is to get off of that, you know, to go chase something like what happens is, I think, is you go spend a day of practice somewhere doing your deal and you don't get bit. You're like, well, you know, everybody says you ought to be doing this here. And so then you go out there and you start doing a little of that and you get a bite or two and then off you go. And then you know, good or bad, you know, tournament. But
yeah,
then what's the one that's the knife in the heart is when you go do that and it's bad. And then you get in your truck and start driving and you turn on live and there's a guy doing exactly what you want to do. And you're like,
yeah,
take a knife and just,
I hate hearing people, you know, if I'm practicing for a tournament 2-3 days before a tournament, I cannot stand to hear, well, you know, they're catching them doing this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me that right now. I'm like, I don't care. I got to go be me. I got to go do my thing and I'm going to win or lose by it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got to be in the spots that I feel that I need to be. It drives me crazy. Can't tell you how many times. I think me and John talked about it. I was fishing a BFL on Norris Lake one time, and my buddy, he was like, yeah, man, I've been catching them doing this and this and this. And I went out there and spent the first half of the day, man. It never got above freezing until like 1 o'clock. And I'm spending the first half of the day doing this stuff, and I'm not seeing fish. I'm not seeing life. I'm not seeing anything. And I'm like, okay, there's enough of this garbage. Within 5 minutes, I get on my graphs, which is where I'm good at. I start looking. I find life. I find grass. I find deep grass, and I throw a shadowlicious. I catch 2 5-pound smallmouth, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't suck.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, man, you just got to be you.
Yeah.
You know,
before you go, man, I do have another question. You know, we talked about the mindset thing earlier, Bradley. You know, after a bad tournament for Bradley Hallman, what is it? What's your cycle to get you back in? You know, because the elites is a little different, not really a little different, but from your regular normal weekend events and all this other stuff, it's more upper level, but it's back to back. I mean, we're talking about, there's an event here and then you drive for 4 days and we're pre-practicing again for another event. So what does Bradley do to help get over that hump that he has learned through his career?
I think all of us kind of did one thing for sure, because it's not a weekend deal. It is all publicized. So the first thing that we do is look, all of us, win or lose or draw, we're looking back at how we could have done better by watching what some of the better, better finishers are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one thing. If it's a back-to-back, you definitely have to. So like the drive from Okeechobee to wherever the Seminole, It's probably about 7 or 8 hours. Let's say it's 8. If it's 8 hours, you spend the first 4 hours of that drive looking back, and then you stop and get diesel, and you better pull every rear view mirror you got off and never look in them again because Seminole's coming. But just generally speaking, when they're over, there's a lot of conversations between us anglers while we're driving home about different guys and who's done what and what did you miss. And so you reminisce on that a little bit, and then you get home and you just start working on the next. I mean, I don't ever try to stay in the past too much.
Right.
I mean, that's even with like great weeks. I try not to stay there for very long because, you've got to move on.
True.
That's what I always say. Doc talk before the tournament, you should never listen to. But after the tournament, that guys ain't got no reason to lie. You can listen to a little bit of that Doc talk after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learn what you did wrong. You know.
Yep.
Bradley, man, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for talking with us again. Thank you for taking a little time out of your schedule. We wish you the best of luck in 2023. Before you go, is any sponsors you'd like to thank, or give anybody your Instagram or your Facebook or YouTube or anything else where they can follow your journey this 2023 season at Bassmaster Elites?
Absolutely, man. Hit me up on Bradley Hallman Fishing, and it don't matter if it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Tiki Tac, wherever you want to find me. I got one. So come join me. We drop a lot of YouTube content, do a lot of stuff. So everybody's there, and everybody that I work with and represent are all included on all those platforms. So
awesome.
We have a good time there.
Again, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a part of the show. And guys, we'll be right back. Guys, really appreciate Mr. Bradley Hallman for coming on and talking with us tonight. I almost forgot, guys. Wildland, I don't know how I forgot. It's in the cup. You guys seen it? Wildland Coffee. Wildland Coffee in a tea bag. Who are we kidding? Coffee is definitely a necessity, everyone. Simply boil 8 ounces of water. Drop in the real ground coffee bag in for 8+ minutes and enjoy. For a stronger flavor, leave it soaking in there for a few more minutes, guys. And if you mention Basscast 10, you get 10% off your first order at wildlandcoffee.co. Appreciate them. I will have guys, I'm going to let you guys know now, we will not have a show next week. I have to have a tooth issue taken care of.
Oh, okay.
All donations for this are really accepted, and it's going to hurt. So we're going to be back in 2 weeks, and we have a new sponsor, guys.
Oh, all right.
So we will be announcing that. The check's finalized. The money is in the bank. We're just waiting on the paperwork. But got a great new sponsor is going to be a part of us, and we really appreciate that. And if you guys would like to sponsor Basscast Radio, just DM us on all our social media, or email me, Brian at thebasscast.com. A little bit of note here. We are still looking for a sponsor for our fantasy fishing, a product sponsor that is. And if you'd like to be a part of that, we have an awesome fantasy fishing here. Bass Geek's going to sign up really, really soon. We're going to play.
I do need to sign up.
And we're going to play against each other again. And then we're going to talk about it on the show, how we're doing. So it's just another little piece to the show. And it's pretty cool to play. We usually have about 50 to 100 people. I think last year it was like 85 freaking people played.
I know how I did last year.
I actually practiced. I mean, no, I didn't practice. I didn't really practice. I just studied a lot more. Instead of just picking eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I actually really did some studying. And I actually did pretty good. I think I finished in the top 20 or 25. I might have even been higher than that. But it was actually a good year for me. So we're going to be talking about it on the show. It's up on our Facebook page now, and I'll put it in more places where you guys can join up. And I think we've had 2 or 3 people sign up in the last couple of days. So Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing, because the season kicks off, guys. Let me scroll up again. Holy cow, I went way too far down on this computer here. February the 16th through the 19th on Lake Okeechobee. So we're what is this? January, February. We're less than a month away.
Yep. Yeah, pretty crazy.
It is pretty freaking crazy. So we're excited about that. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys head on over to Bass Geeks channel, please. Always hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button. Basscast Radio, guys, has its own YouTube channel as well for you guys who like watching video. If not, you guys know all the platforms for podcasting. We can be found on all of them. Bass Geek Show can be found there as well. Yep. iTunes, Google, that's the main two. And there's a bunch more that we're Alexa, you name it, you can find us. So,
yep.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of Basscast Radio. And guys, we will see you all again in 2 weeks right here. And we're going to be talking, hopefully we can get some more anglers on. And we're going to be talking about the 2023 Bassmaster Classic. And, Lake Okeechobee. So stay tuned, everyone. Have a great week. Be safe. And we'll be talking to you later.